We got guys hitting the IL before the season even starts, prospects being sent down, and players absolutely raking this spring. We got that and more in today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Oneil, unfortunately not joined by my co-host, Dominic Martino, but we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to have a great episode. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell below. It'll subscribe you to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you may listen. And since you're going to go do that because you love us so much, you might as well join the subtext platform and send us a screenshot of that review. And it'll give you a chance to join our coveted listener league. We're announcing the last 4 slots on March 20th, which is next week. And you're going to want to get in there. It's going to be a good time. We already got a great group of people, and I'm really looking forward to it. And plus, if you're not watching on YouTube, you're going to want to for this. The winner of the league is taking home one of these hats, custom made by me. If I do say myself, I think they look pretty dope. So I would say try and get in there. It's going to be a great time. We got a bunch of people already, a bunch of entries, but even if you don't get in, that review goes a long way for us, and that'll really help out Dom and I. So much appreciated. Anyway, let's get in this. Let's talk about it. We got some bad news to start off the show. And it's Damion Williams. I don't know if you haven't seen this news already. I'll probably a day late since you're listening a day after I record. But ultimately, Damion Williams has a stress fracture on his back. He's going to be out at least 3 months. So that's never good. He's going to be back probably end of July, beginning of August, depending on when and if there's no setbacks, or when and how long the ramp up is going to be and how cautious they're going to be with him. But ultimately, you don't want to hear that. Back problems for a pitcher, are never a good thing. We see how that plagues Kershaw and things like that. It's crazy because I had him ranked as my number one closer going into this year. And, last year it was Edwin Diaz. So it's like, is being the new number one closer on fantasy, like the new Madden cover type deal. Cause then I don't want to be the best, but I didn't do it to you, Devin. Don't look at me. I didn't do it. But anyway, we're here to talk fantasy, not just joke around or, and I do feel sorry for the man. But we do need to get into okay, how are we handling this injury? Who do we move on to next? What's our pivot, right? So our pivot is Mr. Trevor Megill, 6'8" closer, 255 pounds. My guy's 30 years old. I don't know if you need all that, but yeah, last year he didn't have many innings. He pitched about 34 innings pitched. He had 52 strikeouts. He had a 3.63 ERA. He didn't have a single save. Wasn't put in the opportunity, but he also had a FIP of 213, fielding independent pitching. So if you don't know what that is, essentially it's what if you had an average defense behind you and what your ERA would actually be. So his FIP was significantly lower. Now I'm not going to say he's going to go and have, this monstrous, season. He's going to be the next Damion Williams. No, thank you. That's definitely not what's going to happen. And also, too, after this podcast, this news can change, and he may not be slotted in as a closer after a week. So here's the thing, how I'm handling it is, if I already drafted and I got Damion Williams, I am going to go out and I'm going to go get Trevor Megill. He's most likely out on your waiver wire. If I have drafted and I already have a closer, but I would like another one, Trevor Megill is you're going to go pick up. So pretty much what I'm saying is go pick up Trevor Megill. If you haven't drafted yet, this is where the better handling. His ADP obviously is going to stay at 751. Obviously, nobody counted on him being a closer outside of if something like this happens. So, Damion Williams, I said Damion Williams reading it. Trevor Megill is somebody that, we got to now treat and learn how to react to. So he instantly gets the bump, obviously, into a top 30 closer. I don't know if I want to walk away with him as my one, maybe my two. And in a lot of leagues, you'll probably have to walk away with him as a 2, but it'll be much cheaper than getting Devin Williams. They're a good team. He's gonna have the opportunity, and the only question is how long is his leash gonna be? Because this is another one where, okay, if you get him as a 2, but you waited, it's not as risky because you waited and spent a high draft capital. So I'm not reaching for him. But if you do reach for him, he's like, okay, I got to get a closer, and this is the last one that's like pretty much guaranteed a job to start the season. Just know it comes with some risk because he may not have a long leash, and he can pretty much be out of a job, and back to setup man or whatever, and you're gonna have to pivot on to the next guy. So, if the wind hasn't gone out yet about Trevor Miguel, then I'm waiting to see also, especially if I've already scooped up 2 nice guys. I'm at the end of the draft and he's still there. I'm scooping him up, making him my third. Like, that's how I'm handling the situation. But all right, let's move on. Enough about the closer situation, but it was important. Let's talk about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge was dealing with some, abdominal issues on top of the toe, on top of the phalanges, on top of this, on top of that. And Aaron Jones is becoming a puddle of injuries, and I just don't like it. Being the fact that I have to take him in the first round. Obviously, he's a first round talent. And Roto, I really don't care because if he gets 400 at bats, he's going to do more than most people that got 500 at bats. So Aaron Judge is great, but in head to head categories or head to head points leagues, like, I'm not trying to touch Aaron Judge right now. He scares me. Maybe I'll take the shot in the second round if he falls to like mid to late. Then you know what? That's definitely worth the shot. I'll take it all day. Ultimately, if you're picking him in the first round, you're pretty much saying, please, 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 don't get hurt. At the end of the draft, at the end of the season, get hurt in the middle, at the end, in the beginning, but don't get hurt at the end when you need him for the playoffs. If you're even able to make the playoffs, because he might be your whole team. Things might happen. The whole, floor could fall out from under you, and then you're screwed. Especially with a guy that you're investing that much capital in. So, like right now, Aaron Judge, even though they say he's going to play today, he played today. Um, Scares me. High risk. If I had to do a riskometer, my guy is probably about an 8 right now, just based off of he always says he's going to have to manage the toe. I was dealing with abdomen issues already. Like, okay, he may not have it now, but this is soft tissue stuff, guys. This stuff lingers, and this could be very dangerous for your fantasy team. Not for Aaron Judge; he's going to be just fine. But you know, Aaron Judge, somebody that you seriously need to consider possibly sidestepping if you can. And if he's the best option, then you have to take him. But I would sidestep to my best of my ability. I'm not calling him a bust because he's still stat line at the end of the year is going to be fantastic. Just how long is this dude going to stay healthy? But all right, let's move on. I got 2 more guys in the injury category. Then we're going to move on to prospects and things like that. I got Ronald Acuna news. Ronald Acuna, this is simple. Tweaked his knee. Manager said he would play if this was a regular season. Took a couple days off. They were able to be very conservative with him. He's already back in the lineup. Played today. Looks like he went in as DH. So I have a feeling, hey, like maybe he'll just get a little bit more DH action in the beginning of the season. Maybe the stolen base spaces don't come so early, but who knows? Because also too, the dude recovered from an ACL injury and stole like 30 bags. So Ronald Acuna is a freak. So it's just a matter of like, okay, am I worried? Not really. He's still the number 1 pick overall. Unless they come out and tell me, hey, he tore something as a partially tear, then I'll be concerned. But all I know is he had knee soreness. Let me just double check. I have the article up. Ronald Acuna returned. He had an MRI evaluation on a repaired ACL knee. But it was just irritation around the meniscus. It wasn't anything crazy that, you really have to be alarmed about. But let me sneak in this last injury, guys, so I can keep this in the segments for once. Let's talk about Gavin Williams. He's starting the season off on a 15-day IL, and not something I want to hear. That's great. It's elbow too. He's actually, the only good thing is, it's not like they're saying, oh my God, we need second opinions, anything like that. It's, hey, we had to shut him down for a little bit. Hey, we're ramping him back up. He's starting the throwing program already. He's just going to have to miss the first 15 days of the season. So, with the MRI coming back clean, it's just a sore elbow upon, ramp up, which, hey, like, I don't know if anybody's played sports out there, but like, you're coming back from being cold, you get a little tendonitis, a little tennis elbow, and it just takes a little bit of time. And that stuff hurts. Like, it can hurt, especially if you don't have like a good off season, program that's keeping you loose and nimble. So, he's a young dude. I could totally see that where he's just sitting around playing Xbox and playing the show and eating some gummy bears. So, he's just maybe a guy that just has to be a little bit more careful. But hey, 15-day IL. I mean, obviously his draft price fell about like 20 spots for me. He's in down to the 50 range, but I might still pick him if the price is right. And in 15 days, I have an elite pitcher that I had as a number two, like borderline three. So, Gavin Williams is somebody you definitely want to keep an eye on. But before we move on and we talk about now all the guys that are going to be that were just sent down and how I'm reacting and treating that, I do have a quick sponsor for you. And guys, we're talking Robinhood. Did you know that even if your 401k for retirement, even if you have 401 for your retirement, you could still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood even has boosting every single dollar you transfer in from your retirement account with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscribe fees apply. Now for some legal information. Claims as Q1 2024 valid by Radius Gold Market Research. Investing involving risk including loss. Limitations applied to IRA and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3-month match. You must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% match on transfer is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member of SIPC, is registered broker dealer. Oh, wow, that's fun. Locked On has launched its first ever national 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you, covering 24/7 of your top stories of the day with local experts. And Locked On is also covering all the all the other leagues with their national shows. Sorry about that. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national 24/7 streaming channel. And guys, I mentioned it a little bit at the top, but let me give you a little bit more information. Introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast, Diamond Club on Subtext, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion. Dive into this offseason with Dom and I as we provide you with tier-based rankings with over 100 outfielders and 100 starting pitchers ranked. You'll also have exclusive access to our prospect insights, sleepers, breakout, busts, and personalized draft grades. When you've had the burning questions, we've got the answers. And as the season unfolds, because it doesn't end with just offseason, rely on our dynamic content. Get real-time alerts right to your phone, including waiver wire rankings, instant call-up notifications, injury reactions, and a whole lot more. Stay ahead of your fantasy league by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where your path to victory begins. Subscribe now, elevate that fantasy baseball experience to new levels. And since you've joined already, and because you don't want to miss out on these beautiful rankings that we have so carefully curated and made that we also draft with ourselves, you also want to just go give us that review and send us that screenshot of that on there and get a shot at being in the listener league. So it's got it better than you. Join the subtext. 2 weeks free. Check it out. Get our rankings and then see what happens during the season. We're going to take care of you. You don't want to miss out. But all right, enough self-promoting. Sorry for the blackout there. Hit the wrong button. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving. So I mentioned at the top, we're gonna talk about prospects, and we are. Here's Junior Caminero. Unfortunately sent down. Caminero was opted to AAA, which I'm not really thrilled about because I really thought he was gonna break camp. He was having a nice spring. He had 26 at-bats, he had 1 run. He had 5 singles, a double, a bomb, 4 ribs, walk, 4 strikeouts, you know, batting at 269, not mad. Like he was doing his thing. Like I ain't mad at this. So, I mean, hey, maybe they saw something I didn't. Rays do weird things. I guarantee it has more to do with options than it does for anything else because Caminero honestly could be a serious star. Like, I probably read his stats, his minor league stats about 1 billion times, but I still want to do it again because it's that good. It gets me that excited. Let's put it that way. Um, In the minors, he had 460 at bats last year, 85 runs, 18 doubles, 6 triples, 31 bombs, 94 ribs, 5 stolen bases, batted 324. These stats are great. This kid is going to be elite. So since he did get the call sent down, put him on your watch list. I'm not going to say stash because I don't know when he's going to get called up, probably around Super 2, mid-May. So is what it is with Caminero. Yeah. So let's just keep it rocking and rolling and just don't forget to put him back here. But it is what it is. It's the same thing with this next guy, Pete Crow Armstrong. He wasn't having as strong of a camp, honestly. Pete Crow had about 29 at bats, 4 runs, a single, 3 doubles, no bombs, a rib. Struck out 9 times, didn't walk a single time, had 3 stolen bases. He was batting like a 138. That ain't good. That kind of gets me upset. I actually really like Pete Crow. Before he was sent down, he was going to be one of my sleepers. I figured, he'll figure it out. But unfortunately, he hasn't. Not saying he can't. The dude has the talent and the profile to do so. Um, you know, I'm pulling up his stats right now too. I mean, what he did in the minors is pretty impressive as well. Last year he had 438 at bats. He had 98 runs. He had 26 doubles, 7 triples, 20 bombs, 82 ribs, 37 stolen bases, and batted 283. He really does have the potential to be great. The power is there because he's at least going to hit 25 to 30. He already had 20 in a small chunk of change. He had 100 at bats. That's a 5 to 7 range and possibly even 10 if he really gets on a tear, any good given day. And Pete Crow Armstrong can have 30, but more likely 25. But that stolen base upside with the average is just real exciting. The Cubs are getting better. So, why wouldn't I want to go and draft Pete Crow Armstrong? Right now, I can't do it, though. They sent him down. Another guy we're just going to watch and wait and see. He's another one I'm going to put on my watch list, but I'm not prioritizing if he gets called up, though. I'm more of going to follow what he's doing in the minors this season. And, if he does get the call, then I'll evaluate. But, I'll keep you guys informed too, because he's one of my prospects I like. I have him in a dynasty league sitting in my minor league club. But yeah, Pete Crow is somebody I follow. And I think that, depending on how he's trending in the minors, is whether he comes off that watch list or whether he gets moved all the way to the top. So we'll see. Last one. This one's really, really disappointing for me. That's Jordan Lawler. Was a top 5 prospect last year. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, this is the situation we're in. Lawler is just not making anybody happy in this spring. Let me see if I can get it up. Unfortunately, I didn't come up where I wanted it. So he's had 17 at bats, so didn't even get, an opportunity to really get going. But it looks like the same stuff that we saw when he got the call last year. 17 at bats, 3 runs, a single, a double, a bomb, 2 ribs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and it was batting 176. Lawler didn't do anything when he got the call up either. Hold on, I'm pulling it up now. He just really didn't. He was a poor showing overall. He had what? 31 at bats. He had 2 runs. He didn't record a single or a double. A double or a triple or a bomb or a rib. He had 1 stolen base, got caught stealing, walked twice to 11 strikeouts, had a batting average of 129. Something's wrong there and broken. And I don't know what's going on with him, but I'm treating this 2 ways, right? In redrafts, you don't even look his way, right? Obviously, you could throw him on the watch list and we could follow to see if he corrects things. But it's a little scary. In Dynasty, how I'm treating this right now is I'm either going to try and move him, but I don't know what you're going to get for him. But you still might be able to get a decent thing for him. I would shop around, see what happens. And then in a Dynasty League, the other half of this is if I don't have him, excuse me, I might go out and acquire him and throw a low ball offer and see if the owner's disappointed, see if I could snake him out from under him. And then just, I gave up nothing. So let me see if I could play the upside and see if he pans out. So, there's 2 approaches to how I could treat Lawler. One is if I'm a current owner, see what I can get, if not hold. And if I don't own him, see if I can get him on the cheap. And that's really just it. All right, guys. So that's the end of the prospects. I got one last sponsor for you, And then I'm going to be covering out the guys that have really been raking this spring. And one that I'm really scared that's going to climb up these rankings, this ADP, as this rest of the spring unfolds. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights, in-depth and analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experience with smart TVs as well as Fire TV sticks that you can plug into your existing TVs, that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have the Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver constant supply of latest videos from their favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of our big leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more. Keep up to date with on keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports, March Madness, NBA, MLB, and a lot more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking, videos as well. Check out Fire TV channel on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Again, Amazon.com/LOCKEDONFIRETV. All right. Last end of this, and we got guys that are raking now. And this one is, man, he really just had to show it. Everything I knew about him, everything Dom and I have been calling about him. All right, I'm done teasing. It's Oneil Cruz. Oneil Cruz, man, just why you got to show it now? I just love the draft price. He's going 67th today. I think by the end of this weekend, after one of the larger draft weekends, because we got the Korea games next week. I think he's going to be in the top 40, top 50. Like if I'm drafting today, I'm kind of playing with the ADP, and I'm praying that nobody's really reaching for him. Somebody asked me today on the subtext, where should I draft him? I have the second pick. I'm going to have the 59th pick and the 62nd pick, right? So I advised him to use it with the 59th pick, solidify, reach a little bit, and then kind of roll around and scoop them up again, and then keep moving your thing. Or you can play that ADP game. It's just one of those things. Oneil Cruz, I think, is going to mash this season. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind what this dude is going to do. Right now, he's leading spring in home runs. He has 5 of them, I might add. And in 24 at bats, he has 10 runs, 2 singles, 5 bombs, 8 ribs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, a stolen base, and he's batting a lovely 292 with an OPS of 1.330. He is doing everything I thought he would. He's just doing it too early, and I think the secret's about to be out. So, I'm not saying overreach, but we're going to revisit this after this weekend. If your draft is more of the following weekend where I'm drafting, because I don't care about these Korea games, because it's only 2 teams. Like, it is what it is for me. We'll see how this all plays out. Oneil Cruz is going to be an all-star. Has chance at 30-30 and to infinity and beyond. So, yeah, check out Oneil Cruz. Let's move on here. So about Zach Geloff, another guy, absolutely raking. Oh, man. He's one of my favorite second base targets, too. If you don't know who he is, second baseman on Oakland Athletics. Yes, it's the A's, so there is going to be a built-in discount. Right now, he has 4 home runs. He has 34 at-bats, 12 runs, 7 singles, 3 triples, 4 bombs, 8 ribs, 3 walks to 11 strikeouts, and he's batting a nice 412 with an OPS of 1.312. My guy is chilling, man. Like, he is another one I expected. I made a comp the other day where I think he could be like, he could have value like Matt Olson did. Not saying he's going to be Matt Olson, but where you're on a bad team, but you're still able to produce and be elite for fantasy. I don't think that, the athletics themselves are going to hamper his performance. I think Geloff has a lot of upside just in general. Um, I'm a big fan. So like ultimately where I see what I see him doing is having, the power and having, you know, 30, 35 home runs. I think he can get another 15 bags in that time because he only had 270 at bats last year. He had 14 bombs and 14 stolen bases. I think that's easy realm of possibility. You know, somebody's got to drive him in. Somebody's got to, get on base in front of him. And there's possibilities. There's things moving and grooving that are going to put him in an opportunity to have it. He's not going to have super elite numbers where he's going to be, flirting with 100 and 100. It's probably going to be more like, flirting with 80, 85 in both runs and ribbies. But you're getting him outside of the top 100 right now, if I remember correctly, and I could search that right quick. Um, he is pick 139 by ADP. So, you got to look at it like this. Geloff is somebody that is going outside of the 100. The secret really isn't out. Plus, the A's are putting a stink on him. So, you know, just don't forget about him. And honestly, if you miss out on the top tier talent of second, he is my target every time. Him and Boston Scott. I mean, not Boston Scott. I'm thinking football. Bryson Stott, and it's just I'm loving. I'm getting a real love for Geloff at this point. All right, last guy on this show. All right, we're talking Christian Encarnacion Strand. So there's a few things that come into play when we're talking about him. First off, I'm going to talk about his spring performance because he's performing. My guy has 3 bombs already. He has 24 at bats. He has 8 runs, 2 singles, 2 triples, 3 bombs, 8 ribs, 4 strikeouts, no walks. But he's batting a nice 292 OPS of like 1125. Like he's doing his thing. He's definitely performing. Uh, you know, honestly, the only thing that seriously concerns me is he going to have everyday play? Let's see real quick. Reds. Um, Projected lineup, right? Let's see. I love going to Fangraphs for it. It tells me every time. Great resource. If you guys don't use that site, you should. Let's see here real quick. So it looks like right now he is slotted in. He's hitting 8 though, which I think that'll change. But with the absence now of Marte, I think this kind of solidifies him. They were one too many roster spots, and now that moves Candelario into third and frees up first base for Christian Encarnacion Strand, which gets him everyday playing time. So he gets moved up in my rankings. I'm excited to draft him. He's still, down in the ADP. People will tend to, you know, still try and get him for that price. Right now, he's going off of 140. I foresee him probably reaching probably about closer to 120, 110. Still with the concerns, of course, which is nice. But honestly, with Marte out, I do want to draft him. I don't know if I'm gonna feel great about leaving the draft with him as my number one first baseman. But if all else fails and I don't feel like taking, if I feel like taking the risk with him or if somebody snipes out Vinny P on me, I ain't mad on Christian Encarnacion. And also, too, I mean, you're playing upside. The upside is this dude could be one of the best bats in baseball and be the next Votto, honestly. It's intense, the outcomes. So I could kind of see the case to go ahead and pick him, especially with, what's going on here. So ultimately, I'm grabbing Christian Encarnacion Strand, but hopefully more towards my UT than my starting first baseman. But that's it for today, guys. Sorry for my quick little button hit. I'm gonna try and edit that out. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's good. But anyway, guys, thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. Please click below and the bell below on the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Get an alert every time we get a new episode. Make sure to join us on Subtext and send us those reviews on Subtext so you can get in that listener league. But with that being said, guys, have a great day. Peace.